হ্যালো, কেমন আছো? তোমার প্রেজেন্স করেছিল? হ্যাঁ? তোমার লিফট উপরে যায় নিচে আসে না? এইসব গল্প।
ভিডিওর জন্য স্পেশালি কারণ বাড়িতে বড় হবে রটা দেবেন ঠিক আছে
আপনার এখানে ট্রান্সফার করেন
কিছু হবে না এটাতে করে দেবেন
তাহলে আমি ট্রান্সফার করব ঠিক আছে
এদিকে
এটা আমার ওটা আমার
First time together.
তোমার দুই বোন তো ওখানে থাকে।
হ্যাঁ, 3 of us are there. শিকাগোতে, নিউ জার্সি and ফিনিক্স and বড় দুইজন এখানে আছে। একজন
রেডি 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 রেডি
Thank you.
ভালো আছে তো
Yeah, they all keep unfortunately. Yeah, but that's all about the Yeah, I remember that one of them was like game house and they were
হেমন্তদানের সময় Yeah, this is good.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining us this evening. It's really a pleasure to see all of you. তোমরা যদি একটু এদিকে তাকাও তাহলে খুব খুশি হব
আর বসে পড়ো
So the purpose of what we want to do here is introduce both Charlton and Apala to many of you. We're going to invite some speakers. We're going to talk to you about their experiences with them. So the first couple that we would love to invite here is Jamie and Wenchi. They are Charlton's parents. We would love them to speak a little bit about their family and the three boys, wonderful boys that they have. Okay, please come.
It is such an honor to be here at the Bengal Club. Such a storied place. Thank you. So I've had several people already ask me a little bit about my family background. And I was very flattered they're so interested in me, but I really think it's because of, you know. Yeah. But, so let me just tell you a little bit about myself as Charlton's father and the family history. My father's family has been in America for a long time. There's the hook line, the hook line, which doesn't come with a sinker, by the way. Early 1800s, you know, so it's a long history. And but we don't really know where. Probably England, Dutch, you know, Dutch, German, something like that. My grandmother, my father's mother, was a Burlingame. They went back to the 1600s with Roger Burlingame, who's the European who founded a colony in Rhode Island. And so that was even longer ago. But I don't know why I'm emphasizing length of history in this place. But anyway, so there's a lot of stories and history in America on my father's side. My mother was from New Zealand, not Maori, but Pakeha. And her family went to New Zealand in the 1800s. Different lines in the mid or late 1800s. They came from Scotland via Ireland and Prince Edward Island. And settled mainly in Auckland and on the North Island. And my father and mother met in World War II. My father was a soldier in the army, and he got off to a wonderful start, which is he was stationed in Hawaii. This was after Pearl Harbor, and he didn't drink liquor, but the soldiers were given a ration of 2 bottles a month, and he'd been there for 5 or 6 months. Well, when he was about to be shipped out, his sergeant told him and everyone else, you know, how many coupons do you have left for your liquor? And my father looked at us and said, go get a case. So my father went and, you know, I really don't want to. I mean, right before we ship out, but he got a case and brought it back and got intercepted by a couple other guys and lost a couple bottles and made it back to his place. And they had such a rip-roaring night that it got the attention of the higher officials who said, where'd all this liquor come from? Oh, Mr. Hook over here. All right, put him in the brig. And that's what happened. Everybody got shipped out. I said that's when his fortune began, because everybody in the company that he had been assigned to was wiped out to a man. And he got to go down on the last ship that went down that happened to have all the bigwigs on it. All the, you know, generals and admirals and everything else. and he was in the brig, and people were trying to follow the war in Europe, so they followed the, you know, it's like, what's going on with all these countries? I don't understand the history, and, you know, how does this relate to that? And my dad had a very good sense of history and how geography fit into history, so he said, oh, there's a little newspaper that, you know, goes out on the ship, let me write something. So he wrote something on that. He drew some maps. And 2 years later, after he was in Guadalcanal and in the Philippines, the Army was like, oh, we better write a history. Oh, we didn't have any embedded historians in Guadalcanal. Oh, Mr. Hook was, I remember him, yeah, you know. So they pulled him out, and he wrote the first history of the battle on Guadalcanal and drew maps for that. And it was what the Army used when they did their official volumes later on. But when he was in the being requisitioned for that, he had a break, went down to New Zealand, and met in Auckland, actually north of Auckland, and met my future grandfather's brother in a church, who said, oh, just, you know, next time you're in town, just come and visit. So we went down there and they got a bunch of the Edgerton brothers mixed up, but so I was just come on over, and so they went to dinner, and it's like, oh, you're traveling down to the South Island for the weekend. Oh, my brother here has a daughter who's a nurse down there. Why don't you go visit her? And the brother was like, but my dad went down there and went to the nursing school where my mother was in Dunedin, or outside there, and, or excuse me, Christchurch. And was so smitten that he went AWOL to go back. He was at the train station and said, no, I can't go street like this. Went back, asked her to marry him. Just after a weekend. And she said, let me think about it. So said, oh, this February, January, February, let's try September. We can tentatively plan something for September. But I won't give you my final answer till you're back here then. So my grandparents had to plan a wedding in wartime, not knowing whether it was actually going to come off or not. It's like, daughter, are you going to marry him or not? I don't know. We're writing letters. He seems nice. But one of the things that happened was my grandmother had two older sisters. One of them in the 1930s married an American. She met on a boat going from Sydney to Wellington. And the family called, you know, had somebody, hired somebody in the United States to check out this guy, Frank Kennedy, see whether he was okay or not. So it turned out he was okay. They got married in the early 30s and immigrated to the States. Well, 10 or 12 years later, they're taking this Frank Kennedy. Can you please investigate this Mr. Hook and see whether he's any good? Well, so Frank went to during these 9 months, Frank went to check him out at the University of Michigan, where my dad went undergrad in law school, and talked to one of his law professors. Oh, Mr. Hook, yeah, I remember him. Not the smartest cookie, but he's okay. But it was enough of a approval rating that I happened. And a few years later, someone else happened. And in both our instances, our parents said, or the parents involved said, it was an accident. But a very happy accident.
storyteller, you can tell. And Toto only give us 5 minutes. So I will give a more brief, concise version of my side family. My parents, they originally came from China. After World War II, my father came to Taiwan. And because after World War II, Taiwan was returning from Japan to China. So my father, actually, he was an educator. So during World War II, everybody, old men joined the war. He came to Taiwan. And later, all my brother and sister, 3 of us were born in Taiwan and grew up there. I came to the United States in 1979, so 43 years ago. And stayed, had family, here I am. So, we have 3 sons. The oldest one, Anson, he is a professor right now at University of Maryland, teaching the physics. Colleagues were together, learning from the Raja as well. And the second one, Charlton, Alec, in the back, he is a chemical engineer. Now he's working at Wells Fargo. He's still single. So Charlton is the 3rd son. He always said that he was a disappointment to me because I always want to have a daughter. I never had one. So 2 minutes of disappointment, and after the doctor told me, he said, it's a boy. But I just want to say, Charlton, you have made up to my 2 minutes disappointment so much more than you realize, especially founded Apala, a wonderful daughter to come into the family. So here we are, and we are so happy here to meet you all and try to get to know you better. Some of you know I've been trying very hard to using my cell phone write down all your name relationship. So I'm going to confirm that the relationship with Raja. I know he has a family tree. maybe I will find out that mine was more accurate than his. So anyway, well, thank you very much for having us here and with your great hospitality.
Cool brother. Recall some fun times. So in the 2019-2020 time frame, before the pandemic, I was in Washington, D.C. on work. And most of the time, Raja and I were busy working, really didn't have very much time for fun or doing anything in D.C., which is such a cool city. And then Tia and Char came and visited us and stayed with us one weekend. And what a wonderful time we had. I had met Char a few times before that at Toto and Buya's place, but this weekend was really special for us. We were spending time together as a family for the first time for us. And we went all over the city. Remember, we visited the African American Museum, which was a first for me too. What an amazing experience that was. We had fun meals together, and I could just tell that Char was part of the family. He fit right in. He rolled with all the punches and laughed at all of Raja's bad jokes, while the rest of us groaned, especially our daughter Tara. And we just chatted into the night, prepared meals together, just had a simply wonderful time. And so thank you, Tia, for bringing Char into the family. Even the brief time we've spent with Wenchi, Jamie, Alex, and Anson at the 3 different Kolkata Hook wedding events, and with Anson, who spent one Christmas with us actually before we had your wedding celebrations. And we just feel like the Hook family is part of our family, so welcome to the family, and wishing Tia and Char a wonderfully happy life together.
I think it was the Martin Luther King weekend of January 21st, 2020? No, 2020, right before the pandemic, right? So I was wondering what I would say, and I thought I'd start by explaining that most children think that their parents are utter idiots, okay? And our daughter is no exception. She, there were particular times, I want to recount particular times when she just, completely gave up on trying to find reason from us. She came home one day from school and asked us whether Winnie the Pooh was a boy or a girl. And Mila and I were scratching our heads for a little while, at which point she turned to us, she just gave up on us and said, "He's a boy, he has a round head." Now, it took us a little while to figure that out. It turns out that in children's books, girls are drawn with hair, long hair, and boys aren't, and so that was her. So this was one example. Another example was when she would insist on a younger sibling. Now it's difficult to explain to a 2-year-old that, about mommy parts and daddy parts and whether they work or not. So we weren't going to go into that at all. And so she wouldn't get an answer from us about, can I have a younger sibling? So she gave up on that and promptly started asking us for an older sibling. And we couldn't figure that one out either. But she had figured it out. And in Paki and Tia, she had found the perfect older sibling. I feel fortunate to be one of the earlier members of the family to meet Char. Tia reminded me that we went to the TikTok diner. This is TikTok spelt with 2 C's. One in tick, one in talk. This was close to Madison Square Garden, Penn Station. It was the middle of the night, I remember. One of my students and I from Stony Brook University were meeting up, and the 4 of us met up. I don't remember the food, but I do remember you from that. So in the other thing that's really endeared the 2 of them to us is the fact that they're dog owners. Their firstborn is a Wheaton Terrier named Bailey, who we've had the pleasure of meeting. Why isn't she here? Exactly. And in this particular corner of the lunatic asylum that we call the Gota family, this gives you a very large number of brownie points. So thank you for being part of our family.
তো আমাকে সবাই বললো যে কেউ আসবে না, তোমার কেউ চেনে না, 20 বছর আগে চলে গেছো তোমরা, nobody remembers you, nobody will come. I kind of went against the tide and had every possible argument, every possible jhagda in the house, and decided, no, I'm going to do this. And somehow I figured out that Shayan and Orpita were the key people over here, and I got told, I said, ask your friend, and the whole ball got rolling and everything fell in place. So thank you, everybody. This shows that I had some weight in my words, and people did show up. So I have my friend from 3rd grade, Devi over here. I have my friends from college. We have all family, my Didi from Auckland, everybody from Bangalore, everybody, Gurgaon, our neighbors, friends, Jaboli, you all are so precious, and thank you for coming. Ajanta, I cannot forget, you come all the way from Phoenix, and everybody who's here. I'm just so overwhelmed that you're here, and we hope to have a great time, all of you together. Okay, so with that, I want to invite 2 of our very, very close and Tia's very little, when she was very little, they came into our lives, Geeta and Vandana, neighbors, friends from South City days. So 92, 93, as far as that. So if you can please come and say a few words and then we wrap up. Good evening. I'm Geeta. My husband and me, we lived in Gurgaon, and I'm here because we were neighbors 29 years ago. And ever since, from a friend, we've become part of the family. And I remember we had just moved into Gurgaon, and there was a new neighbor, and there were very few houses. So as soon as someone new comes, we would visit the neighbor, or the neighbor would come across. So 2 people walked in, and that was, now I know, was Buya, and there was a nice little chubby baby, was so beautiful, and ever since then I adopted her. So I had a son too. But these 2 came together into my lives, and many of my friends thought I had twins, because the whole time she was there. And so I had one chubby girl, very beautiful, and I had this puny little boy. So they were both my children, and they both called me Amaji. So Tia would sleep there with me, and then I would feed her, and then they both would go to Buya, and there was Puli. Puli would give them a bath, and then feed them. It all happened like that. Then as days went by, then Abhilash, my son, was feeling a little insecure. So, this Ammaji, this word, he wanted to get the patent of that. So he kindly told her, Tia, she is Gitanti. Okay? And she is my Ammaji. So Tia couldn't argue because she had to still come home. Because she couldn't make a fight and then she would go away, that wouldn't be good. She said, okay, I'll call her auntie. And so ever since she's been quietly calling me auntie. And so doors were never closed because it was very safe. We didn't have any robbery, thieves, nobody. So this girl would come, morning she would be here, and then she would have food over there. So, as you know, I come from Kerala, and rice and curd are part and parcel of our lives. So every meal we have to have that. So I would insist that Tia also has it. Now Tia loves it with a lot of sugar in it. Now I don't advertise sugar for kids, so I said no sugar. You have to put it in the rice and eat. So she said, Gitanti, girls don't eat curds. So that way she can, get away from it, because she knew I wouldn't give her any sugar. So then she was called Tia Baby. Of course, Ahili is baby, but she's all caps baby, but this is just one small baby, okay? So she was Tia Baby all through my life and still is. So like that, when we meet, this is the talk we have. When Buya, Pino, myself and all of us meet, we would repeat these stories again and again. I don't know, anybody who hears it might get bored, but we never get bored. So that's how it was. All the best to you there. I'm Kuhu. I'm talking on behalf of Vandana. So I'm Kuhu, yes, but I'm known as Kudidi. That's the short version, because as Geetani just mentioned, we were one of the very few first people moving in South City. So our first playgroup was I was 10 years old. My sister, that's Julie, she was 7 years old. Then we had Abhilash, the puny little boy auntie was mentioning, who was 2.5, and Tia was 1.5. And that was our first playgroup ever in South City. And Tia was very insistent that Ami 1.5 bachore. So every time you ask, Tia, how old are you? Ami 1.5 bachore. So that is like always stuck with us. And as Gitanji mentioned, like our stories are the same, they haven't changed. But, and just like, I think this time when we were talking about that, about 1993 is when we all kind of moved into South City. About 99 is when both Geeta auntie and Bhuya auntie, both of them went away. So it is about approximately 29 years since we met and about good 25 years since we've not stayed next to each other. But it just is that much special, and we are part of the family. We know all of you, even if you guys don't know us, we know all of you. We've heard so many stories about the family, so we just feel as part of the family. We are part of the South City family, we definitely call ourselves that. So the Hook family, welcome to the, as somebody mentioned, the Manhattan family that we all are. And Char, welcome to the family, and of course you've heard a lot of these stories, you will continue to hear them for the rest of your life. The stories won't change, they'll just become more dramatic. But welcome to the family, and have a very, very great and lovely life together. All the best.
Okay, I'm coming in. Congratulations.
Okay, we'll have some closing statements from Tia and Charlton. And before that, I would like to invite, I would really like to thank some key people here, Shayan and Arpita, without whom we wouldn't be here. And they've helped us tremendously organize this event. Also Sujata, who's going to get the floor rocking very soon after dinner. And Shubroto, who's going to keep the memories going on for many years. We still look at our wedding video, which is over 30 years old, and see wonderful people there. So, Tia and Char, over to you, and dinner should be served soon after that.
So, thank you all for coming here tonight from both near and far. I've heard so many stories about all of you, and it's great to finally put faces to names and actually get to know you beyond just the many stories that I've heard. You may not all have known this, but today is actually the 6th anniversary since the first time we met. So, back in 2016. We thought it would be easier to remember the date if we already had it in our mind, so that we wouldn't have to have one more date to celebrate. But I know that we are keeping you from dinner, so we want to keep this nice and short. So I'll pass it off to Tia to close it out.
Just a big, big thank you. In all of you, I see my whole world. I see my grandparents. I see, people who couldn't be here. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm so happy. I told Ma and Baba that I was like, I don't want to stand on a stage and sit and not get to talk to anyone. So I think this is the perfect room that we can all just spend time together and catch up. And thank you for welcoming my new family. Thank you for loving my old family, and I think now we're all just stuck together for life. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Enjoy.
Okay. In my last closing statement, really this is true, because I know my parents are not here, Ria's parents are not here, but there's so many of you who know them so closely, and we see our parents through you. So enjoy your dinner, and there's a big dance party after that. Thank you. Friends of mine.
40 years. I gathered so many pictures in a long time.
There's lots of Apala.
Please continue. Your dad's very, very good childhood
Thank you to the Apala family for having us this evening. And from the band, we would like to wish the newlyweds a very, very, very happy.
বলো বলো তুমি যাবে বলি তাহলে আমাকে বলেছিল তো একাই আসবো
I'm not.
আমার আলাদা আলাদা কিছু দেখায়নি।
People on the dance floor. Because